Hi, folks, and good evening to you, Simon. A late start for Remember When, but a very special night all the same.
Yes.
Because, as we know, the 24th of April would normally be Bruce's birthday.
Yes.
He would have turned 72 today, and so we won't let the occasion go without paying special homage to him. Although you'll have to agree with me, all the love and support we got on Friday was quite overwhelming, I believe.
Friday was a beautiful day. It was just a wonderful day, and the people who came were lovely, and hundreds of people filled the theatre.
Yes, I heard on 9 News in excess of 600 people, which is a lovely tribute to Bruce, and it shows just how Melbourne feels about him. And I think the afternoon would have given enormous comfort to Jill and the family and those beautiful grandchildren,
the grandkids,
who sort of stole the show. Weren't they gorgeous?
They were fabulous.
And I forget that they'd been growing up, because Bruce started saying hello to them 8 or 12 years ago, and you forget that now they're that much older. I picture them all in my mind as being about 7.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, they're teenagers now.
Absolutely. So it was so wonderful of many of you to make the effort to be there on Friday and be so supportive of all of us. I guess you could say we've all had the worst week, and just to know that you're on side with us meant so much. And among the people I saw, and I'm not going to single people out because there'd be 600 people to mention, but it was great to see our former Chief Executive Graham Mott there that afternoon. Trent McCurdy came in from the country. He used to work with Bruce at Radio 3 INR years and years and years ago. And here's a name from the past, Bert Brewer. What does that name mean to you?
Yes, I met him as well.
Yes.
The washing machine repairman.
Yes.
I finally met him after 21 years.
He made a supreme effort to be there. He had a nasty fall earlier this year, as you know, was in hospital, and he's 87 years of age now, and he struggled to be there. Adam Lang, our executive from the network, came in from Sydney. Anyone you spotted that you saw that surprised you?
In terms of surprise, no, because everyone who was there, I think, had a good place in Bruce's life, in terms of celebrity, that is. You know, with Greg Evans being there when Bruce was Dexter on Perfect Match.
Of course.
Daryl Summers turned up here. Well, Bruce was the Chinese Superman in Daryl's early career.
Exactly, and very good coverage on the news on 7, 9 and 10 again.
Yes.
On Friday. They've really done Bruce proud. And
I just want to say a very special thank you to Tracy Bartram, who sat with me during the show. She and I have a fair bit in common, Tracy and I, and in terms of our... well, I was going to say social awkwardness. I'd use that term to describe myself. Probably shouldn't use it to describe Tracy, but perhaps you won't mind. We're a little nervy in crowds of people. It's not something we tend to enjoy. So when she said that she was coming, I said, I'll meet you, we'll hang out together. And so Tracy sat with me and held my hand through the service, and I really needed that. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Yes, we all needed a bit of a prop on the day. I had Nigel of Nigel's Animal Rescue to take care of me. Good to see Robert Drossard, an old friend of ours.
Yep.
There among
the pest
the people.
from Pakenham, as we used to call it.
Yes, absolutely. So now... this is ironic. Look what I was going to present to Bruce on his birthday this year. It was all ready to be wrapped and a card written, and
look at
he would have loved this book.
A book by Bob Byrne called Australia Remember When. On the front cover, a picture of the Hey Hey crew, somebody changing an engine something, and somebody doing a tyre, an ad for chocolate crackles, and some girls, a black and white photo of some girls doing, I think, was the Oranges and Lemons, the Bells of...
Yes, I think so. Actually, Bob, I understand, is an Adelaide DJ, but it's a wonderful book.
Oh, okay.
And I'll keep that in memory of Bruce. Now, 2 things we want to do early on. I hope you've stayed with us through the footy, and you're all with us, because our lovely friend Robyn Youlten has written a song about Bruce, a song for Bruce, and Jill has a copy of this already, and she did this together with Chris Sherry. On vocals, you'll hear Robyn, also playing banjo and guitar, Chris on flute, Ian Stewart and John Michel Georges on bagpipes. It's quite a production, and we plan to play that song for you for the very first time in just a few moments in memory of Bruce, and especially as today is his birthday. Now, what I want to do is this. I did have a little piece prepared for Friday at the Athenaeum, but as you'll agree, it was a very full program, so I've saved it until tonight. But it sort of is... well, I think it sort of sums up how we all feel about the man, and it's very comforting and very reassuring. We'll hear Robyn's song in just a few moments, but first I'd like to recite for you The Homecoming. I am standing on the seashore. A ship at my side spreads her white sails to the morning breeze and starts for the blue ocean. She is an object of beauty and strength, and I stand and watch her until at length she hangs like a speck of white cloud where the sea and the sky come to mingle with each other on the horizon. Then someone at my side says, "There, she's gone." And I say, "Gone? Gone where?" "Gone from my sight, that's all. She's just as large in mast and hull and spar as she was when she left my side, and just as able to bear her load of living weight to the place of destination. Her diminished size is in me, not in her. And just at the moment when someone at my side says, 'There, she's gone,' there are other eyes watching her coming, and other voices ready to take up the glad shout, 'Look, here she comes!' Death is merely the horizon, limited only by our sights."
On a cold and rainy winter's night, sometimes summer, autumn, spring, my fingers dance across the dial. I hear the number ring. I've a problem or some news to share. All my health is on the mend. I'm calling up to hear his voice, this man who I call friend. Hey, and what about that footy team, or what politicians say? And I found Grandma's recipe, or I've had a lousy day. Let's chat about that Dickens man, literature and film today. His dulcet tones and wisdom too, they help us on our way. Now it's time to raise our voice and show our love and heed the call. We all standing straight beside him. Should he falter, should he fall? He's a man who has his dignity, and a man who has his pride. Let him know he's not alone. Now we're one family by his side. Old theaters, television, phone, radio of yesteryear. stop to take the time. Now it's time to raise our voice and throw our love and heed the call. We all stand in strength beside him. Should he falter, should he fall? He's a man who has his dignity. He's a man who has his pride. Let him know he's not alone. Now we're one family by his side.
We were contacted a little earlier this evening, Phil, by somebody who just wanted to say hi. Greg Newman, editor of Jock's Journal. How are you, Greg?
Very good, Simon, and also Phil. Great to be on the program. And like many others, I would have loved to have got through last week, but of course there was just so many tributes. But thank you, Phil, and I appreciated you and Bruce giving me that opportunity to have a chat with you on Sunday night. I guess that would have been in the 90s when we talked about trivia.
Yeah, but you've been very supportive this past week too. Thank you so much, Greg.
Yes, and I just wanted to follow on, Phil, just briefly. You know, Bruce, as you mentioned, would have been 72 today. Born in Fitzroy. He really was a Melbourne boy, wasn't he? I think he might have spent his whole career just working in Victoria. I don't know if he worked outside of Victoria.
No, you'd be quite right. He was a Melbourne boy through and through.
Mm. And Phil, I know we've had a couple of conversations about this, and I don't want to get too morbid about this, but I know you've mentioned from time to time, you said, Greg, you'd be amazed at how many celebrities die around about the time of their birth, whether it's their birthday or a few days before. And of course, we've got the sad situation of Bruce, dying just 1 week before his birthday. So I've finally done a little bit of research, Phil, on this particular topic.
I think Shakespeare would be top of your list.
Well, that's if he was actually born on his birthday. So that's a bit of a question mark on Shakespeare. But yeah, you're quite right. I mean, traditionally we observe the same date. But here's your. Now you mentioned there's no quiz tonight, but I've got a quiz for you boys. Can you name any others that may have died on their birthday?
Well, I know. I think
Wouldn't have a clue.
Well, I think David Bowie died within days of his.
That's true. Yes, there was just 2 days apart. There was a famous actress that I think you should recall died on her birthday.
Well, give us a clue.
Okay, well, Ingrid.
Ingrid Bergman, perhaps.
Yes. And there was John Banner, who was a part of the Hogan's Heroes program, 63. Mike Douglas, TV host, he died on his birthday. And one which I didn't realise, but it was very sad because he was only 58, was Ken Judge, the AFL coach and player.
Yes.
Who died this year. And just some of the other ones, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I've finally done the research which you wanted me to do. Either one day apart or a day after their birthday. We had Ted Mowry, our great pop singer, who died just a day before his birthday. Sir Michael Redgrave, a day before. Cliff Robertson, a day after. Telly Savalas, a day after. Do you want to add any more, Phil? Is there any more coming to your mind?
No, but it's an incredible list, and obviously we're only talking coincidences here. And we have to include, although he wasn't a celebrity, we should include my father, who died 1 day after his 76th birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, I only had, just a few more, just a day apart. We've got Tommy Smith, horse trainer, just a day before his birthday.
Yeah.
Rocky Marciano, the boxer, just a day before. And interestingly, we've got 2 Walters. Walter Houston died 2 days after his birthday, and Walter Pidgeon, and as you mentioned earlier, David Bowie, were just 2 days apart. So we'll leave it there. We could go into the 3 days and the 4 days, but I just thought we're...
All right. Well, no, I have to tell you too, Bruce was always very fond of you, Greg, and liked your writing style.
Oh, okay. That's terrific. Anyway,
I guess we'll see you at Etihad Stadium during the year, won't we?
Well, yes, we will. And I think I need to be there to cheer on the Saints after their efforts today.
All right, Greg. And thanks for your contribution tonight. Very interesting, very curious. Thanks, Greg. Good night. And we're going to come back with the tribute, which we did on Friday from the Athenaeum Theatre. People would love to hear that again, I'm sure.
Yes, a lot of people would have been at work and missed it. So it was so good we thought we just had to play it again.
Hello again.
Oh.
This is John Doremus with the Passing Parade, the story of the infamous Nazi Jew baiter Julius Streicher. Of those who surrounded Adolf Hitler in the inner circle of the Nazi gang, it would be difficult to say which was the most vicious and brutal. A strong claimant for that dubious distinction, however, was the monster known as Julius Streicher. And I'll be back with his story after this message. Ancestry. Julius Streicher was born in the Bavarian village of Fleinhausen on February 12, 1895. He became a teacher at a local school and in World War I served as a machine gunner in the German army. He returned to teaching after the war and attracted some attention as a street corner agitator. In due course, he threw in his lot with a small band of fanatics who called themselves the Nationalist Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazis. The official leader of the Nazis at that time was one Anton Drexler. But Streicher soon learned that its real aspire was an ex-army corporal named Adolf Hitler. After several stormy clashes with Hitler, Streicher realized he had met his master and gave him full support. Hitler rewarded him by making him chief of the Nuremberg branch of the party. In November 1923, Streicher took part in the Munich beer hall push against the Bavarian government. Subsequently arrested, he was sent to prison along with Hitler and thereby became one of the heroes of Nazism. A vitriolic hatred of the Jews was the mainspring of Streicher's interest in the Nazi Party. Following his release from prison, he purchased the disreputable little Nuremberg scandal sheet, Der Stürmer, as a platform for his anti-Jewish propaganda. Der Stürmer rapidly became the most luridly obscene and scurrilous newspaper in Europe. Despite his influence on Hitler, Streicher had many enemies within the party, and his infamous private life provided them with much ammunition to use against him. But in the early years of the Nazi regime, his power continued to increase. In 1935, he was appointed to a committee to revise the laws relating to Jews. The Nuremberg decrees resulted, reducing the Jewish population to virtual serfdom and ushering in persecution on a grand scale. The climax came in November 1938, when a German embassy official was shot dead by a crazed young Polish Jew in Paris. In the ensuing weeks, Germany wallowed in a nightmare of murder and violence as Nazi hoodlums, hounded on by Streicher and propaganda minister Goebbels, wreaked vengeance on the Jews. Within a year, Germany invaded Poland and Europe was at war. A few weeks later, sudden and mysterious disgrace fell on the head of Julius Streicher. On September 15, 1939, he was arrested by the Gestapo, though subsequently released. He was stripped of all his offices and forced to retire to his Bavarian farm. He remained in obscurity throughout the war, but this did not save him from retribution when Germany fell. For crimes against humanity, he was brought to trial at Nuremberg, and on October 1, 1946, along with Goering and a dozen other Nazi chiefs, was sentenced to death by hanging. The sentence was carried out 2 weeks later. Our time is up till we meet again for another chapter in the Passing Parade. This is John Doremus. As always, thank you so much, and goodbye for now.
Phil, at 11:06, we have, on Friday afternoon, we had quite a large number of people come to the theatre for Bruce's send-off. We had an enormous number of people listening to it through 3AW, and we had a lot of people watching it online as well. It was quite a huge crowd. But we also did have quite a few people. I spoke to Meryl from Rainy Day Books, who said people have mentioned to her, do you know if they'll release a CD of the service for Bruce? Because they couldn't see it, they couldn't listen to it, they were working, whatever their reasons were. Of course, not everybody is available to listen to something at 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon.
Certainly.
So it was such a wonderful service that at the conclusion of it, I bumped into Stephen Beers, our general manager here, and I asked if he would be okay if we replayed it this evening. And he said, by all means. And I said, that means we have to drop ads. And he said, no, that's all right, it's important.
I think that's an inspiration.
Yes.
Especially being Bruce's birthday as well.
Well, exactly. It's sort of such a sad way to celebrate a birthday. But for those who missed the service on Friday afternoon, here it is.